So I have with me eminent panel to discuss the benefits of millet in order to put it more in public domain. I have with me Srimati Jyoti Sardesai, Director of FTA. Please give a huge round of applause. Also joining me is Manohar Karekar, the Chief Officer of Kurchere Municipal Council. Joining him is Neville Afonso, Director of Agriculture. Sri Vincent Ramos, Area Director Taj. And also Rodwin Rodriguez, Chef and Entrepreneur. This is an international year for millets and we are celebrating it globally. What is the significance of millets in our diet, that is predominantly in our geographical area, that is our state? I would request this question to be answered by the Director of Agriculture. If you can just enlighten me on millets and Goa basically.
Millets, it is a group of cereals. You got a lot of cereals, a group of cereals which belongs to a grass family, very small millets, small cereals. Basically, in our country, there are many types of millets. Millets is not one crop; it is a group of cereals. There are many types of millets like jawar, like bajra, like ragi. Jawar, bajra, and ragi are coming in a major group because it has been widely grown and widely consumed by the population of the country and of the world. And there are other minor millets like finger millets, minor millets like little millets, barnyard millets, porso millets, and kodo millets. There are other millets which are also coming in a minor group of millets. Millets they are good. They are good for farmer. They are good for consumers. They are good for climate also. They are good for farmers because millets give them a good price. You can earn money from millets if it is properly grown. They are good for consumers because they are nutritive crop. They are nutri-cereal. Now it has been termed as a nutri-cereal where most of the nutrients are available for the human development there. They are good for the consumer. They are good for the climate because it is a climate resilient crop. It can grow even if there is a drought, it will not die easily. It can grow with less water. With less amount of water so that we can conserve water, and also it can grow up in a soil which is deficient of nutrient, but poor soil I can say, which is not very fertile soil. That's why in Goa it has been traditionally grown in talukas like Kankani, Kepe, Pedne, Sange and Dharbandara, mostly in hilly areas. And as you know, the hilly area soils are not very fertile; they are poor, so it can grow. That's why we call it a climate resilient crop. As far as scenario of Goa is concerned, as far as millet is concerned, millet was never a main crop of Goa. It was not widely grown in Goa. Paddy always took that position of a main cereal crop of Goa. But millet was grown in hilly areas, in hilly talukas like Kankani, Kepe, Sange, Dharbandara, Pedne, Bicholi also. Grown, maybe estimated area was around 100 hectares. But now it is come down. Now it is come down to around, last year our census said it is only 20 hectares are there. And we succeeded in arresting that up to that 20 hectares. And maybe around 250 farmers as per our estimate. So our endeavor is to increase this area. There may be several reasons for that, for bringing this area down, because farmer, as you know, they also want to grow a paying crop that will generate more income to them. And our governments, country and everywhere, we have given more focus on paddy. More focus on paddy as a food crop, more focus on vegetable as a cash crop, more focus on other horticultural, cashew, coconut and crop. And this millet, which has been forgotten by the government as well as consumers, is coming up well when the United Nations Organization declared International Year of Millets 2023. That's all I am.
So I hope we get the focus back in action here in Goa.
Yes.
Ma'am, I'd like to ask you one simple question. Is you are a mother. You manage your house as well. Now we have seen our diet, maybe a couple of years back, to what it is today. Most of us, especially kids or even us, we end up eating chips, chocolates, ready to cook food, and all such things, which has completely changed the way which we should eat basically to be healthy. I want to ask you one simple question: is millets, how do you make it cool?
Yeah.
And get it in our diet basically?
Yeah, in fact, millets, like, mainly what was known to us is like in main use is ragi. We used to make satwa or this ambil and all that. But nowadays, children, they are not having it. But I have seen that now in the hotels or otherwise also, we go with it like, make ragi dosa. So dosa children like because it is crispy and this. So you make it into a ragi dosa. So like that only, like, this millets, we can mix it with our wheat and this and make puris like crisp and all. So like that, it's a mother's role also, to bring the millets into the diets.
How can a five-star property like yours, who is at forefront, especially with so many properties here in Goa, how do you see millets getting incorporated in your palette basically?
So millet in a big way, to answer in one, in one line, in a big way, because I think millet is the underdog of the cereal or whatever pulses that we have. I remember millet as a child. When Goa was not so rich. My grandmother, my grandfather used to grow it, like sir was saying, on the hills. Okay, it was grown. I come from a village called Shoran in Chorna, but today nobody does that anymore. I think somewhere it lost its importance, and I think we should now try to get it back, and I think the FDA, Ma'am Jyoti Sadda, is doing a great job. It really pains me that, for example, if you see today, if you ask me five-star hotels, only Taj is taking part. For example, everybody should be here. You should have the Hyatt, you should have the Marriott, you should have everybody here, and that is what is going to bring this back. We all do things in a way, but I think it is very important for us to work as a family, as a team Goa, to make sure that we all, and I'm not boasting about myself, but I'm just saying that we are a very national company. We feel for India, and I think millet is a crop that is very dear to our heart. I grew up on Tizan, on Ambil or Satwa. I grew up on that, but somewhere it got lost. And as you said that, the worry is the latest food, but like in our stall here at the Taj, we are doing a millet risotto. Nowadays the children like to have a pizza. Let's give them a millet pizza, right? So I think the five stars, because there's a culture of five stars now. We have to educate the guests in our hotel, saying how important millets is. And I think all these presentations have to go to the guests, because till you don't educate them, they will not, be whatever. They will not start worshipping the millet. And as I've said, that millet has been an underdog. It has to come up. It has to. What really took our millet's place is rice and wheat. Wheat was never grown in Goa, but I remember standing for ration for wheat, but it took over millets because. Because of the commercialization, wheat came to Goa in multiples, right? And then everybody forgot millet. But it's the right time to bring back millet, and I congratulate the whole team for doing such an excellent job.
I think you really nicely said is all the five-star properties here in Goa should educate their guests visiting, and obviously I believe Taj has always played a very predominant role in showcasing the local talent and the things that are there available. Emma Stay is one such example of what you have to offer. Sir, I'd like to ask you one simple question. There are a lot of municipalities here in Goa, obviously panchayats as well, and all these marketplaces are under the municipalities of the panchayats. Now, how do you see promoting millets, especially with the infrastructure that you have available, readily available with you, and in educating your constituents basically?
Basically, if you see the overall point of view, there are really 14 ULBs. And we, as a DMA, we execute supervisory control. Considering the benefits, like we will be giving an opportunity to local farmers to showcase their products, we can give them a space in an actual vending zone. Also, so as Sir and Madam has already said about the health benefits, even the elected representatives will also come forward to help the local farmers. And since it is a nutritious product, it will all the way go as a health benefit to the ordinary citizens of the constituency and the local people. And I've just read somewhere that organic, when you are cultivating in an organic way, the greenhouse gas emission is comparatively lesser compared to the normal cultivation which we do, commercial cultivation what we do. So in a way, considering the advantage, it will be for a municipality, for a local municipality also, it will be a great honor as well as an opportunity for us to showcase our product and give them a place. And
has there been a thought process to move ahead with this idea?
yes, already there are town mending committees set up, and we, as a lot of us might not be knowing that Kurchade, as we will be recently we have inaugurated a food court, and it will be operational. So that space also we can use it as, and the tendering process is already done.
That's great news. Chef, I'd like to ask you a very simple question. Is the humble pav has been part of our diet and every Goan home. How do you see millets, especially in bakery segment or bakery sector? We see?
The ICAR, the Indian Institute of Millet Research, they have done a great job, and the FDA, FSSAI has taken this forward to promote, to make this, to bring the awareness among many of our dear consumers that how millets has made a comeback. Yeah. For me as a professional, I was involved with the wheat grain earlier, but now as for me, considering millet into my bakery products, first I begin with our local Goan poi, which we have developed, and without any of refined grains into it. Because the consumer preferences something that they would require would little bit softer texture, because ragi are very hard. So when it comes, so understanding this consumer preferences, what is palatable for them, we worked on it. Yes, and today we have millet poi. Then we were discussing with one of the nutritionists, the well famous doctor in our city in Margao, and then with the diabetes patients that I was, and they were suggesting me, Chef, what if we feel hungry after breakfast? What could you do for us? So we came up with ragi breadsticks, which they could just the false hunger they feel just within 2 sticks, whole grain, this ragi sticks we have developed. So like this, we developed cookies, we developed cakes, we developed muffins for little children. And even when I was teaching into the institute, one of my students, they came up with cups which they can serve smoothies, and they can eat the cup along with it. The whole grain cup, edible cup, a cookie cup made with, you can make it with whole grain, and the smoothies were served in it, mousses were served in it. So these are the, it's not only ragi should not be looked as a sick person's diet, but even the future youth have seen it. And one of my students is here, and she has come up also with wonderful products which will be palatable for our younger generation.
Okay, it's interesting thing. I remember in a recent discussion we said, a diabetes patient can have poi. But I was then surprised to know that you should know what goes into a poi. Like I might say poi is healthy, but then again, you don't know what is going. So you need to understand your paukar basically. So who makes that poi? So you mentioned one important thing is there are a lot of health benefits that are there. One is obviously diabetes that he mentioned. Madam, I'd like to ask you the simple question is, what are the benefits of having millets over a long term in our diet?
Yes, consumption of millets definitely has a lot of health benefits. We know that, and that is why we are creating a lot of awareness about this usage of this millets. See, every week we are releasing one quarter-page advertisements on some Sundays and Mondays. There we are giving all the IEC material and about eating right. And since this 2023 is International Year of Millets, we are concentrating more on millets. So our advertisements on the TV as well as on the radio as well as the hoardings, we have given all the health benefits of these millets. One thing is that they are very rich in fiber. Then they are also rich in calcium, magnesium. they have proteins, and then they also have vitamin B plus. So all these health benefits are there. Also, they are good for diabetics because they reduce the sugar content. They are also good, long consumption will reduce the risk of cancer, also heart disease. So these are the main benefits, and that is why this we have to reduce the consumption of like as he said last year when we had here that same Eat Right. It was not Millets Mela, but it was Eat Right Mela. That is time his products were how he has come from instead of the refined flour to the whole wheat flour. His cookies and all were of whole wheat flour. So this year his cookies and his products are of millets. So this is the change from the cereals that we are using, and this is the importance of the millets that is already come into the public, and also the bakers as in the 5-star. I have seen eaten in the 5-star this ragi dosa, also ragi parathas. So that is why I mentioned that this change has to come and people have started accepting it. In fact, I'll tell you, recently we had our Central Advisory Committee meeting of Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, which was held at Taj Vivanta. And today he was felicitated because he really curated all the dishes, wherein most of the dishes had these millets, and they were so tasty. No one could know that they are made of millets. Only from the label we could know, and that is he had really worked on those millet preparations. So that is why even everyone, there were this food safety commissioners who visited from all the states because it was all over India. Meeting, and also the top level officials from FSSAI, right from Chief Executive Officer of FSSAI. So even he appreciated, he said, see these millet dishes, what he has to, this is what is. So that is why today he was felicitated. So they have done really a very great job on creating awareness about the millets and actually showing that the millets recipes are really tasty and healthy.
Okay, chef is one such example. There are many entrepreneurs who are taking millets as their key ingredient and curating a lot of dishes around. Sir, I would like to ask you is as director of agriculture, how do you see promoting? Now you have given me some facts, numbers as well. How do you foresee to first arrest the crop that is available and also increase over the course of time? Because as you rightly said, our focus has been the rice and the wheat, which was never our first crop.
Yeah. As the Department of Agriculture is concerned, our most job is to promote this millet cultivation in the state of Goa. And as we are concerned, our first thing is to create an awareness amongst the millet, amongst the farming community as well as the general consumers. Because it is two-way. Unless and until we create a demand for millet, farmers will not go for cultivation because they will not get a good price.
Supply-demand.
Yeah, it is supply-demand equation. So we are also helping in creating a demand, and similarly, side by side, we are promoting farmers for cultivation of millets. So we have already started this, not just because International Year of Millet 2020 has been declared, even before that, but our wheels are in more force after declaration of this. So we have already created awareness campaign. We participated in Carnival Float. You might have seen Carnival Float, a millet float we have put. Our officers came on the street to dance at Margaon and Panjim. A lot of awareness has been created, not only among the people who were present at the float and also on online also. Then recently, last week, we are conducting Nasneke Fest at Mapsa. It was also a great success with the assistance of our curated by Maurice Fernandez. So it was a great success there. And there also, many people came, so awareness has been created, a lot of media support also we got. And now we have recently organized a capacity building for our officers, capacity building for extension functionaries, what is millet, how to go, the cultivation technology. Now in April, May, we are going to have an awareness campaign at village levels, where we are going to disseminate the different technologies for cultivation of millets to the farming community. Different technologies we are going to disseminate there by organizing demonstrations, by organizing one-to-one meeting. We are going to bring more new farmers into this. Of course, we have got 20 hectares area. We foresee that at least another 20 to 40 hectares area will come during this Rabi season, during this Kharif season. It is not that the millet or Nasne and Wari are widely grown in Goa. Other millet, Jawar, Bajris are not grown, nor the climate is very suitable for have a commercial cultivation. So Ragi, Nasne is widely grown. So that crop we are going to promote very vigorously during this season. And not only the crop, we have got also unit where we teach value addition. If a farmers produce a crop and if it is sold as it is, he may not get a good price. But if he add value into it, making different type of value added products and sell it in the market. So those trainings also we are giving to our farmers through our KVK South Goa. We have got SMS Home Science Plus and other KVK North Goa also. Through this institution, we are creating that so that a farmer get a good price.
So your focus is you're trying to be entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So
yes.
Goa government will become Shark Tank.
Yeah. We want to be Swayambun in that.
Okay, let me just focus the discussion to more important perspective of it. Food safety panorama and especially in the state of Goa. I would like to open up with Mr. Ramos. Now, I remember I visiting one of your event where even ma'am was there. You have this property quiz on safety where you have this visual and all those such questions, and obviously the winner is decided. Obviously, 5-star properties, all these elite properties are at the peak of maintaining safety and standards. I want to ask you one simple question. What does it take to have this system in place, one? And secondly, to percolate it to the down level, how can you guys handhold all the vendors and all the entrepreneurs who are there in the food business basically?
No, it takes a lot, for food safety. And I see that Goa is doing a great job under the leadership of Ms. Jyoti Sada. I'm not saying because she's sitting here, but Goa has won awards also. We are all aware of that. And that is because of the leadership or somebody's passion, A lot of people will not know, what goes into a safety. The temperatures to be maintained, the cleanliness, the fumigation. People come in the restaurants, they eat and go. But behind the scene, it's a big task. It's a huge task to maintain this. There are ways and methods of what needs to be kept as record. Right from the person who joins his examination, whether he's carrying a disease, right from grooming, whether his nails are cut. So there's so much that we don't see it in front, but it's always done behind. But to answer your question of how it has to be percolated down to the line of other people, I don't think so we are there as yet. But it's a good thought. We need to then go to, like a big brother and the small brother, teach them, handhold them. And I think we need to really, really look out of ways and methods. Maybe have an adoption program, or, some hotels can adopt some smaller brothers, and say that this is the way. Bring them for training, cross exposure, I think there's a lot we can do on that front.
I think if I can ask my audience simple question, think over it. How much time do you take to wash your hand? And if I ask Mr. Ramos, how much time does an employee take to wash his hand? Mr. Ramos, if you can answer me.
So I think it's 20 seconds. Yeah,
and there is a process to it.
Yeah, and when you're washing your hands, it's a process where you have to keep on rubbing inside the thing, foaming it. First you have to wash, then you have to foam your hands, then you have to wash again, then you have to dry it. So it's like it's a big process. Though it looks like we clean our hands ordinary, but in a hotel it's a big process. And then we do this process every 2 hours. In our kitchens there is a bell that rings after 2 hours. That reminds you now you have to go and wash your hands. So every 2 hours the hands are washed in the process that is prescribed by the authorities, So it's a very, very long process. It's not like just wash your hands and come out. It's a step-by-step process, So
I think that is what it takes Mr. Ramos and Taj to be at the forefront. Madam, you would like to join me.
I would like to say something like, how to wash the hands, for how long to wash and all that. For that, there is something mandatory training for all the food business operators. That is called a FSSAI training, under food safety training and certification program, that for every unit which is having 25 employees or less, minimum 1 person certified, FSSAI trained certified is a must. So such trainings are conducted by FDA with the help of the FSSAI trainer. And I'll mention that one of the Taj employees, Ms. Dorothy, who was felicitated today, she is the FSSAI trainer. She is doing a very good job in association with us. She has trained many food business operators. So all such trainings, how to maintain the hygiene and everything is being done through this. And there are different training modules, For retailers, wholesalers, it is separate. For bakeries, it is separate. For restaurants, it is separate. And for caterers, it is separate. Some are half-day training, some are full-day training. So like this, under that training also, like as you how to wash the hands, right from there, how to maintain the records, and how the your renewal of licenses, how to store everything, like that is explained and taught in this first aid trainings,
Okay,
which are mandatory under food safety.
Mr.
Yes.
Ramos were very kind in words to say with respect to you and the department. I'd like to know, as you've been getting a lot of awards, especially in FSSAI, what is the success story that has happened over this course of years, and how do you foresee the department spearheading?
Yeah, success story, I will say that from the time I have taken over as director, I have said that it is Team FDA. So Team FDA is working to ensure food safety, and I'll say that Food Safety Standards Authority of India since last 4 years has started evaluating the performance of the states under 3 categories: large states, small states, and union territories. And under the small states, Goa has been awarded the first rank in Food Safety Index continuously for the last 4 years. And then this evaluation is done on 5 significant parameters. The first thing is that your human resource and your institutional data, like how much staffed you are, whether the staff is as per the requirement, then whether they are institutional data, like whether you have a proper infrastructure and all. Then second is the compliance, the food safety and standards compliance, how much compliant you are, whether all your FBOs are licensed, whether all the food samples tested, how much percentage is there, whether adjudication cases are filed and all. Third thing is that your lab infrastructure and then testing. Like we have today, we have inaugurated the second mobile testing van. We had first, now this is the second one. So this mobile testing van goes around the villages, especially we tie up with the local bodies. And there even, just for the public, that you all also can, for a nominal fees like 20 rupees, 30 rupees, you can get your sample tested on the spot. So do please make use of this facility. That is one thing. Fourth point is there, it is training and capacity building. And the fifth one is consumer empowerment. So we also do a lot of IC activities for consumer empowerment. And as I said, release of advertisement is all that. Also then we celebrate all the consumer days with the help of the NGOs like Goa Can and all that. We also go to the schools, we go to the self-help groups, we go to these village panchayats, and with the tie-up with the municipalities and all, and also with our line departments like Directorate of Agriculture, like we do the training for they have a scheme for this sometimes if you get the complaint that there is artificial ripening of fruits, so for that they have ripening chambers, so that FBO can take the facility of that. So like this we have created awareness, and many people have now gone for these ripening chambers and all that. We do programs with the Women and Child Department, Directorate of Education for the midday meal suppliers. So like that we do a lot of collaborative things, and that is why we find that continuous for 4 years we have received this award from the food safety in the small state category.
Okay, Mr. Karekar, we spoke about the 5-star properties. The biggest challenge lies with all the markets that are available under you. We also see that there are a lot of challenges maintaining the basic requirements that are there. How do you see the safety vis-a-vis your area of the scope of work where all these municipal markets are there?
Basically, as per the government directive, we have an act for forming a town vending committee. And the main responsibility of the town vending committee is to ensure that all the vending zones are properly maintained, and they will take care of everything. And our municipality, we would like to identify a new vending zone. At that time, basically, we'll have to do some things that will help us to monitor and ensure that all food safety standards are maintained. Basically, identifying a new vending zone, we have to do need assessment. Need assessment. The second thing what we do is you take into consideration all the vendors. You have to take their feedback while ensuring identifying a new feedback. Whether some of the vendors might not, we don't have any parking spaces and all. So those need analysis need to be done very judicially. The third thing, which is that we have to identify and formulate rules. Formulate rules like what are the market hours, how much is the timing, or what kind of products will be sold in that area. That entire thing has to be defined. Then we can issue permits to vendors. So the permits, like you can sell this type of product. Then third thing is that you ensure feedback. You provide them infrastructure like basic garbage management, waste management, segregation, basic supply of water and electricity. The last and final thing what we need to do is that we have to provide them with feedback. I mean to say, a service where they are encouraged to take up business, and access to credit is required, and training to the vendors. In this, if you take all these steps into consideration, we can have world-class vending zones in entire municipal areas.
Okay. Mr. Neville, I'd like to ask you one simple thing is pandemic taught us all this kitchen gardens and stuff like that. Obviously, that's a considerable part of what has evolved in this ecosystem. First, I want to ask you, motivating youth towards agriculture is a vague question. It requires a lot of time and efforts and energy towards it. Though there are many youths who are into agriculture now. I want to ask you, let us start with kitchen garden. Let us try and test the waters first. How are you promoting youth, especially with respect to this route of rather than big picture, let us start small?
Yeah, it's a good question. You see, to tell you to begin with, no home is complete without a kitchen garden. No house is complete without a kitchen garden. Whether you live in a village, you live in a city, whether you live in a small house or a big bungalow or a flat, kitchen garden is a part and parcel of a home. Without that, the home is incomplete. You see, if you see today the Goan scenario of availability of food, more particularly the vegetables, most of the vegetables, see, it was 90%, now it has come to around 80%, 70 to 80% vegetable is come from outside the state. And you do not know what is there in the vegetable. You really do not know how these vegetables are cultivated, what type of fertilizer they put, what type of poisonous chemical pesticide they spray to protect the vegetables from insects and all, which are then absorbed by this plant, by these fruits, by what we eat, and then which we consume. It could be very bad for our health. So it is only your garden, it is only your kitchen garden that can provide you a very healthy vegetable, a very healthy food, which is not available anywhere in the market. Because when a farmer or when any businessman grows something to sell, he will see that his produce has got a consumer appeal. His vegetable is not eaten by insects. His produce will not be attacked by any fungus or any type of disease which will say that should not happen. So consumer appeal is there. But when you grow it in your own vegetable garden, you are health conscious. You know what to spray and what not to spray. You may say that, okay, I want to grow organic. I will not spray any chemical pesticide or use any chemical fertilizer. So you will definitely go in for organic. But a commercial farmer cannot do that because it is costly. And they can do it, but provided they get a good premium price for the organic produce. Now at present, if you see anybody, even if they tag organic, only few health conscious people will give a good price. Otherwise, it goes general as a general produce, at a general market price. So I would like to appeal people to have a small garden. Even if you are living in a flat, you can have some pots and grow some type of vegetable, which can be made available. And as far as International Year of Millet is come, a thought has come to appear in our mind that even the millets, even the nasli can be grown in kitchen garden. A small area of 2 square meter can give you at least 1 or 2 kg of nachne, and purely organic. When we promote when we promote millets, at the back of our mind we try to promote organic millets, not just chemical millets. Organic millets or natural farming millet is also thing which our department is promoting these days. Our government is also helping people for this kitchen gardening. We had a program in Mapsa, we had a program in Marga also. Urban kitchen garden, people who stay in flats, how to grow vegetable in pots. Such programs we are organizing, and in the month of April, May or June, we are organizing such program in municipal areas also. We are going to organize in municipal areas also, where we will teach people how to grow vegetable in pots. They can be easily grow. It is not a rocket science. Only they need love. Similarly, inputs are required. particularly people living in cities. Soil is not available, that is also a complaint. So we are making an attempt to make that soil, small one-potted soil, premixed soil, having all nutrient into it, available to the farmers.
So basically we're trying to say is पहिले आमगेर पोरसू असताले.
Right.
Today it is converted into a kitchen garden because our lifestyle has changed.
Aspects, that is very important.
Okay.
To add to that, I think it's a very valid point, and I think for all Goans, most of our land, somebody told me that when I come to Goa, when I drive around, I don't see anything cultivated. Most of our land is barren because we have got a source of income to something else. We have forgotten our that agriculture part of it. It's really sad, but I think something needs to be done on that front also, where you educate the public on whatever in cultivating the land, like you have a kitchen garden. These were the things of the past, like Porsu, you said, kitchen garden and cultivating paddy and all, or whatever, it's dying off.
Chef, my final question is, innovation is key into business. You have innovated, ma'am has given a testimony saying that you have innovated over these years. I want to ask you is what led you innovate, whether it was supply or demand, or it was completely passion that I want to do something in millets and let me do it. Whether even if I fail, that's fine with me.
Yeah, as ma'am has said, few years back, we were here with wheat grain, and now I am here with millets. She has rightly said, and I was so happy with that. And we had written a first research paper with the student, and we were invited for IUFOST in 2018. It was over wheat. Now, recently we have written another research paper, a research article, which is published in FSSAI journal, which is based on healthy grain and millets. And what I see myself, I could not be contained in a smaller zone, but I reached out to many that what you can do with just taking this millets, which has made a comeback. And for this, as you have said, innovation is important. Why I say is that now, as I spoke to you about my ragi sticks, it was very difficult because ragi is a very hard grain. It has its own taste. The skin is bitter, and to take care of this, we have to think something different. So we came out with a method where we understood that leaching out of the starch from the ragi and then forming a stick of it was it could contribute a different taste altogether. And it did. And the same breadstick which we could do otherwise, just using the ragi powder and forming a stick out of it, but just through a boiling method, including an innovation in it. Yeah. Then we had to think about. See, there were the earlier chefs has given us a good foundation. Like for example, we used to say 1, 2, 3 method. 1, 2, 3 is just flour, fat, and the sugar. That was the simplest way of doing a biscuit. But now to replace it with the millets, not all millets are good to pellet directly to take it. So we have to use, like for example, a moderator something in that to create an interface between millets. So the same when we were developing a cookie, it took us nearly one cookie to develop. It took us really 6 months till it comes on the shelf, and we could see that because it's not only just including the millets, but whether it is palatable. So we innovated a method, a combination of a grain with it, in a milder proportions, but that gave a way ahead for us to make that cookie acceptable for palate. I'm very, very thankful to the government, our Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, who has I would say that given us this platform as professionals to come back and showcase what all in bakery, what all we can yes.
It was pleasure to have you all on this beautiful occasion, beautiful evening rather, and I hope we get millets on our diet. Let me confess one thing before coming to this discussion. I had one chocolate, I had a couple of chips, I had a soft drink, and that's not healthy. From here on after, let me just kind of confess that let me eat healthy so that I can live a little long and enjoy lot many such evenings over this course of time. Thank you very much. Pleasure it was.
Thank
you.
you.